Hi, everyone. My name is Nix. I use the pronouns she, her, and I'm still kind of new to this church, so I'm still looking forward to knowing each and every one of you. In this song, I Dream a World, based on the poem by Langston Hughes, we share a dream of a world without the shackles of bigotry and hate. As we honor Transgender Day of Visibility, we modified the original language to be gender neutral so that all are included in this dream.
Good morning. My name is Lisa Martin Burza. I use the pronouns she, ella, they. And I will start with Infinite Divinity by Reverend Jamie Yandel. The chalice is lit, and in the flames, the memory of our trans and non-binary ancestors do a dance of freedom and liberation, reminding us that we are whole and holy. We are loved beyond all measure. And in our refusal to accept anything less, may we know that we are rooted in the infinite divinity, not relegated to the outskirts of the web of all existence, but enshrined at its core, enfleshed with stardust and fairy dust, an intentional creation of space where our many gods live. Welcome to worship this morning. And I will move right into our land acknowledgement. Con espíritu de reverencia, reconocemos que nos juntamos esta mañana en la tierra de los Kumeyaay, quienes continúan viviendo en todo su territorio. Al emprender este viaje juntos, mantengamos en nuestros corazones y mentes el pueblo Kumeyaay.
In a spirit of reverence, we acknowledge that we gather this morning on the land of the Kumeyaay, who continue to live throughout their territories. May the light of this candle shine for our commitment to the Kumeyaay people and to justice and equity for Indigenous people everywhere.
I invite you to rise in body or spirit for our opening hymn.
Good morning, and welcome to the First Unitarian Universalist Church of San Diego, where we worship each Sunday in South Bay, in Hillcrest, and online. Our mission is to create community, to nurture spiritual growth, and to act on our values to help heal the world. I'm Reverend Kristen Kuriga. I use the pronouns she and her. I serve as one of your ministers. I'm co-leading the service this morning with Lisa Martin Burza, Luis Titlow, Xochitl Ramos, Tomas Acosta, and Chase Pardo. If you are visiting, I want to extend a special welcome. We invite you to fill out the visitor card that you can find in your order of service and bring it back to the welcome table after service. If you're joining us online, you can also fill out a visitor card at the link on the live stream page or in the YouTube service description. We would love to connect with you. If you've been coming for a while and are starting to feel like this is your spiritual home, I want to invite you to consider becoming a member of this beloved community. You can learn more about becoming a member at the welcome table or by contacting Valeria Aguilar, our membership coordinator. So I invite you now to join me in our participatory welcome. Welcome to this space. Bring all of who you are, in all the beauty of languages, cultures, and skin tones that come together in your uniqueness. In all the ways you experience and express gender. In the beauty that is who you love and how you love. In all the ways you live and move and experience your embodied self. With all the religious and ethical traditions that inform your spiritual life. Join us as we live into our shared values with love at the center. We're so glad you're here. I want to invite you to rise, embody your spirit, and join in singing our church hymn and reciting our church aspiration.
May love be the spirit of this church. May the quest for truth be its sacrament, and service be its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge in freedom, and to help one another in fellowship. This is our aspiration. Que el amor sea la doctrina de esta iglesia, la búsqueda de la verdad su sacramento, y el servicio su oración. Vivir juntos en paz, buscar la vida con libertad y ayudarnos mutuamente en comunidad. A eso aspiramos.
Good morning, friends. I'd like to invite any of the children or youth who would like to come up and join me for our time for all ages. Come on. Oh, and everybody's waiting for the other one. Oh, there we go. Good morning. Good morning. Oh, just sit there. There you go. So friends, today we're celebrating Trans Day of Visibility, and that's a day when we just recognized our trans brothers and our trans siblings who we really celebrate with joy. Their His room looked like a girl's room, and he wore clothes that like other girls were wearing. But as Aiden got bigger, he hated the sound of his name. He felt like his room belonged to someone else, and he always ripped or stained his clothes accidentally on purpose. Everyone thought he was just a different kind of girl. Some girls had rooms full of science experiments and bug collections. Lots of girls didn't wear dresses. But Aiden didn't feel like any kind of girl. He was really another kind of boy. It was hard to tell his parents what he knew about himself, but it was even harder not to. It took everyone some time to adjust, and they learned a lot from other families with transgender kids like him. Aiden explored different ways of being a boy. He tried out lots of names until one stuck, then changed his bedroom into a place where he belonged. He also took much better care of his new clothes. Then, one day, Mom and Dad had something to tell him. "I'm going to have a baby," Mom announced. "A baby?" Aiden said. "Does that mean I get to be a big brother?" "Of course," Dad said, ruffling his hair. Aiden thought that being a big brother was an important job for a boy like him. He wanted to make sure that this baby would feel understood right away. The baby needed clothes, so Aiden and his mom went shopping. There were so many choices. Would the baby like seahorses or penguins better? "Are you having a boy or a girl?" asked a lady. Aiden didn't like it when people asked if he was a boy or a girl, and he hoped the baby couldn't hear yet. He was glad when Mom just smiled and said, "I'm having a baby." The baby's room needed to be painted, so Aiden and his dad went to the hardware store. Dad chose a gallon of sky blue paint, and Aiden added a puffy cloud white. "Are you excited for your new brother or sister?" asked the paint guy. "I'm excited to be a big brother," Aiden said. The paint guy looked confused. Aiden could tell that he wanted to ask a different question and was glad to have his dad there. The big rollers were fun to paint with. "This room feels just like being outside," Aiden exclaimed. He had always felt trapped in his bedroom before they fixed it, but his new sibling wouldn't have to feel that way. "You're right," said Dad. "Let's make some shapes in the clouds." Every baby needs a name. Aiden loved getting to choose his own, but he remembered that it had been hard for his parents to let go of the name they gave him. He looked for names that could fit this new person no matter who they grew up to be. Babies need someone to read to them, so Aiden practiced and practiced and practiced. Dad wanted to teach Aiden how to change diapers. Maybe later," said Aiden. He decided that picking flowers for his mom was more important. 2 weeks before the baby's due date, Aiden started to worry. Maybe he should have picked different clothes. The blue walls may be too bright. He wished he could ask the baby which name they really liked best. Mom came to tuck him in. "Are you feeling okay, sweetie?" she asked. Aiden put his hands over where he thought the baby's ears would be. "Do you think the baby will be happy with everything?" he whispered. "I don't want them to feel like I did when I was little, but what if I get everything wrong? What if I don't know how to be a good big brother?" Mom hugged him tight. "When you were born, we didn't know you were going to be our son. We made some mistakes, but you helped us fix them. And you taught us how important it is to love someone for exactly who they are. This baby is so lucky to have you, and so are we." The next morning, Aiden found the boxes of his old baby pictures. He looked so different back then. It hadn't been easy, but he liked the boy he was growing into. Maybe everything wouldn't be perfect for this baby. Maybe he would have to fix mistakes he didn't even know he was making, and maybe that was okay. Aiden knew how to love someone, and that was the most important part of being a big brother. The end. Oh, thanks. Yeah, friends, I wish I had more time to just go into all the things about this book that I love, but I hope you paid attention to all the sort of subtle things, the ways they talked about things, just how natural and expansive this story felt. in a way that I've not read a story like this before. So we'll have it up in the office later on next week. It hasn't come in yet, but if you want to take a second look at it to capture all those things, feel free to borrow the books we use anytime. So friends, I would like you to help me out up here. If we can stand up and lead the congregation in our affirmation. We'll say it first in English and then in Spanish. We are Unitarian Universalists, a people of open minds, loving hearts, and welcoming hands. Somos unitarios universalistas, personas de mentes abiertas, corazones amorosos, y manos que dan la bienvenida. And now I invite all the children and youth who'd like to join me and their other leaders on the patio, and we'll head to our groups.
Lay ministers are available after the service to offer a listening presence. If you have a joy or sorrow you would like to share, this morning's lay minister is Brandon Hall. As you can see him there. If you would like to learn more about us and see some of of the many gems of our campus, I encourage you to take the campus tour after the service today. Matt Kaplan will be. Where's Matt? There he is, up there in the corner. Matt Kaplan will meet you right here after the postlude and be your expert guide. Please join us at 11:30 a.m. in the common room for an invitation to community session. This monthly program is facilitated by Valeria Aguilar and designed to help new visitors or members explore and connect with our congregation. We hope to see you there.
There's a lot going on in our community, so I have a few more announcements. The first, that it is Dining for Dollars time. This bidding season opens on April 13th, and we only have 7 events so far. So we're really concerned that we won't have enough events to make this auction worthwhile. And Dining for Dollars is not just an important church fundraiser, it's this essential way that we build community and deepen relationships and have fun together. It's a great way to get to know one another and also to help create community. So I want to invite you to keep this beloved auction going, plan to host an event or two, and plan to bid on several. We'll be accepting submissions through April 6th, and bidding starts on April 13th. You can find all the information that you need on the Dining for Dollars webpage under the Giving tab. There are 2 important social justice actions coming up that I want to invite you to join us in. April 5th is a National Day of Action with demonstrations happening across the country. Yes. We will be going down to San Diego Civic Center Plaza beginning at 12 p.m. This mass mobilization is one way we can publicly dissent against the policies of the current administration and show up for those who are most directly impacted. There will be a contingent going from the church meeting here at 11:15 to carpool or lift down to downtown. You can also meet us there at 12 p.m. Contact Valeria if you plan to join us. The following Saturday, April 12th, in collaboration with the Diocese of San Diego and San Diego Organizing Project, there'll be another day of action starting at 10 a.m. and going till noon with a focus on supporting immigrant communities. We'll begin at Waterfront Park with a prayer service with faith leaders and community members, and then have a multi-faith procession down to the Federal Building. Now, one important thing, if we reach our goal of 50 UUs, SDOP will provide a bus for us to get there so we don't have to worry about carpooling. So if you are planning to come, sign up at the SJET table outside, and we would love to be with you as we take action together. Now I want to invite up Roger Lundbaum and Rick Zemlin, who are going to lead our offering this morning.
On the 5th Sunday of the month, we share our offering with our partner church in the Philippines. Rick and I visited our Malingan partner church in the Philippines in January, and they gave us a very enthusiastic reception. It seemed like the whole village turned out, and I was especially moved by all the children who gathered with us to thank us for supporting their education. The money raised goes for scholarships and books, uniforms and transportation to allow them to get an education. Rick?
Thank you, Roger. Yeah, it was an amazing trip, really memorable, and traveling with Roger also. It was my 4th time that I had been there to our partner church, and I was struck this time by just how basic the lives were of the people in that rather remote village where our partner church is. Basic even by Filipino standards. Noe, who is the volunteer pastor at that church, and he's just a simple rice farmer and sharecropper. He took us on took us on a tour of the village, a walking tour, and the congregation members welcomed us into their homes, and they didn't seem shy, even though their homes were so basic, sometimes appearing just patched together. And it was clear to me how important the funds are that we raise here in our church to help their kids go to school. And Filipinos so value an education because they see that as a way out of poverty. So if you would like more information, Roger and I will be out here after the worship, and you can talk to us about the village or about our trip, and we would love to talk with you. You can give to support this activity through text at 619-333-3040. Enter the number in your text and type "give" and press send. Then follow the prompts. You will need to fill out your credit card information, your name, email, and physical address the first time only. You can also donate this morning in person through cash or check towards the back of the sanctuary or online on our church website, firstuusandiego.org. Thank you for your generosity. This morning's offering will now be gratefully received.
My colleague, the Reverend Julian Jamaica Soto, wrote these words for this Transgender Day of Visibility. The title is Modulate the Minor Key, Celebrate What's Good. We come to this day again. The subtext is this: being trans is not a tragic song and mournful dance. Remembering the dead is fine, the hard work of the living, the masonry of love. But do not spend so much time rehearsing aloud the legacy of violence and the inheritance of fear that you forget. To be visible is to offer an invitation to something deeper and bolder, like the cold currents of the ocean carrying muscular fish, the means of connecting with the people we want to connect with. But trans people are not invisible in the way of ghosts, having given up tangible form. To make trans people visible is to tell the truth, that trans people have always been here. And no matter the complexity of a moment that makes trans folks targets of hate and misunderstanding, we will always be here. And tell the truth that we are not discovering trans people like some new element with a name like Californium, but rather that as communities, we are learning, perhaps for the first time, that without the presence of trans, non-binary, and intersex folks, our own blessing is not complete. Our own blessing is not complete. Not because we have to extract it from somewhere, but because the wholeness of both the universe and humanity lies in each of us and all of us. Amen. Today, we honor Transgender Day of Visibility, marked each year since 2009 on March 31st. This day was founded by Rachel Crandall Crocker as a day of celebration for the trans community, to lift up the joy and the blessing of living as our whole, authentic selves in the world. It's particularly poignant this year as we also bear witness to the violence of our times, which targets our beloveds for who they are. In worship this morning, we seek to honor both the grief and the gratitude, the joy and the heartbreak. It's all woven together in stories and songs and reflections. Now, I want to share a story that comes from our church, from church members Les and Scott Grandsmith and their children Amanda and Thea. Their family shared their story with StoryCorps, who then produced it in an animation. I spoke with Les and Scott a few weeks ago, and they remembered how the church accompanied them through this time of transition. They send their care and their love and their good regards to all of you. So let us hear their story.
2 days before Thanksgiving in 1997. And I said, "What's going on?" And then you said, "I can't tell you, because if I do, you'll leave me and take the children and I'll never see them again." And I said, "You probably better tell me then," because of that. You can't leave it hanging like that.
So that's when I told you.
First thing I remember is that you said that you were in the wrong body, that you should be a man.
And if it had seemed to me that I was going to lose you and I was going to lose the kids, I would have said, okay, I'm not transitioning. But you told me that we'll work it out. You know, we were walking through a territory without a map because we didn't have anybody ahead of us.
And we just kind of fell out of holding hands when we were walking along the street.
Spontaneous affection, we couldn't do it comfortably anymore.
A lot of it was me, because it became clear that I would be perceived as gay. But at one point I realized that I didn't fall in love with a couple of body pieces. I decided this is the person.
And I was still the same person.
More so. More like the fun person I remembered from 30 odd years ago than before the transition.
Amanda was 7 at this point, and I explained to her where this was going, and burst into tears and threw herself onto my lap. And she says, "Oh, please, don't change into a man. If you have to change into anything, couldn't it be a cat?" and that was not a question I had prepared myself to answer. I mean, I was kind of stunned. Do you remember, Amanda?
Barely. Like, I was 7. I think I was 11, right? 10, 11?
10.
I was really worried about you not wanting to be my mother anymore. So it was pretty intense.
Did you guys ever feel like maybe it was your fault, that something that you guys had done?
You made that pretty dang clear that it had nothing to do with us. What were you most concerned about when you told us?
Well, you know, girls learn how to be women from their mothers.
Right.
And I was terrified that I was going to totally screw you up. And my only defense against that in my mind was to go, they'll see love and have that be what makes the relationship work.
So, and this is a little scary for me to ask, were you ever prepared to not see us again?
No,
or
that was never, ever an option. I mean, though, it's just been amazing to watch you. You stuck with it. You persisted. And every year, my respect for you grows and grows.
I love you.
What a beautiful story. I want to invite you to remain seated as we sing our next hymn, number 1053, How Could Anyone?
How could anyone ever tell you you were anything less than beautiful? How could anyone ever tell you you were less than whole? How could anyone fail to notice that your loving is a miracle? How deeply you're connected to my soul. How could anyone ever tell you you were anything less than beautiful? How could anyone ever tell you you were less than whole? How could anyone fail to notice that your loving is a miracle? How deeply you're connected to my soul. Hi, my name is Sachit Quetzal Ramos. I use the pronouns she, her, and that was a very touching story. So, let me tell you about a little reflection I wrote called Growing Old as a Trans Woman. I used to have a recurrent dream where I would be asked the following question: do you want to be a woman or a man for the rest of the year? I would always choose the same answer: a woman. I grew up in the early 2000s in a place where trans representation was almost nowhere to be found, at least for someone my age. I was raised surrounded by music and women. In every choir I was since I was 6, I was the only guy. Life was kind of socially rough with me. Guys bullied me. But one night, things changed. I was 9 years old. We were having visits, and before that, my dad told my sister and me, so there's gonna be someone here who changed her sex. So please don't make uncomfortable questions. We want her to be comfortable. Then I saw her. We talked about who knows what things, but she was funny and nice. She had a conversation for everyone that night, and we had a great time. I never knew her name. I don't know where she is, but I will never forget that moment. Because that was the moment when I realized, so you can actually do it. She had no idea, but she became my superhero. People believe that being trans is a trend or that it's something new, but it totally isn't. For example, in ancient Mesopotamia, there were stories about the Sumerian goddess, Inanna, who had the ability of changing people's protests we have seen in the last couple of years, and months, and days. Life changes when you come out as trans. Some people stay, some people leave. Friends, family is the hard one. I told my dad that I was trans after my first college show. We were at the theater's parking lot, and I told him, "Dad, I'm trans." And he told me, "I'm not gonna tell you what to do with your life. It's your life. But just know that your life is going to be very hard." I asked him for a hug, but he just said, "I'm very tired, I'm going home." Just like a movie, I stood there at the parking lot. I was about to cry, but then a friend of mine, who was my dad's age, 75, came to me and asked me, "Sochi, are you okay?" I just hugged him. And I realized this is what matters. Let me go back to my dad's words. Your life is going to be very hard. Yes, that's a fact, but come on. Does anyone really have an easy life? Not really, right? Because if our lives are gonna be hard, then we might as well live freely and live just like we want to. Look, we don't owe explanations to anyone, and yes, times are hard. But now things are different. I believe there is hope. And just by being ourselves, just by taking our place in society, we're doing so much. When I got to college, I was the only trans student in my faculty. Then I was the first openly transgender lead in our new theater. Then the first openly transgender playwright. Suddenly people came to me. Some were already identifying as trans, others wanted to come out of the closet, and they felt safety about coming to me. Then we had more trans students, and suddenly all of those feelings of loneliness left. We were now a community. You want to know what you can do as a congregation? It's very easy. Be that friend who gives support when our world is teared apart. Support trans rights for both adults and kids. Inform yourself about trans history. Donate to trans institutions. Go to protests. Get to know us. Our stories, our dreams, you'll find many. You want to know mine? I want to be for my community what that woman was for me when I was a kid. I want to see a world where we can be ourselves without fear or guilt. But my biggest dream is this. I want to grow old as a trans woman.
I want to invite you now to join me in a time of meditation and settling in. This meditation is adapted from Prayers for Bodies by the Reverend Sean Parker Dennison. Sean writes, "There is no life without the body. There is no prayer without the body. We invite all bodies into this space, which we make sacred with our presence. Your body is welcome here, just as it is." So I want to invite us to take a few minutes to check in with our bodies. How does your body feel right now? One way we honor our bodies is to ask what our bodies need. So I ask you to take a moment and ask, what does your body need in this moment? Maybe some stillness, maybe some gentle movement. Maybe you want to stand or lay down. Give yourself the gift of whatever your body needs right now. If you would like to receive it, I offer this blessing, also by the Reverend Sean Parker Dennison. Spirit of life, we ask that you bless our bodies. We give thanks for our bodies full of joy and wonder. We thank you for the thousands of ways that we can play with, decorate, and inhabit our glorious, one-of-a-kind bodies. We ask for the strength to shamelessly embody. We pray to know the love that never fails, a love that is unoffendable, a love that fills our bodies with joy. Amen.
In this beautiful piece, written by M.E. Valverde, based on a poem by Lady Dane Figueroa Edidi, we honor the names of our fallen trans sisters of color with the practice of saying their names, referring to the indigenous practices meant to keep their memories alive. This song is both a prayer and a call for justice.
We
Jaquarius Holland, China Gibson, Ty Underwood, Penny Proud, Eastlawn Nettles, Angel Rose, Lexi, Layla Pelaez Sanchez, Malaysia Booker, Rihanna BB Hill, Laylene Polanco,
This beautiful, powerful, heartbreaking song honors the reality that our transgender and non-binary beloveds, especially trans women of color, are the targets of violence just for living as their authentic selves in the world. We say their names so that we will not forget. We say their names so that they will live on in our memories. It's a prayer, a sacred act, and also a call to action. This call to action could not be more urgent than it is right now. Through executive orders, discriminatory legislation, and hate-filled rhetoric, those in power are attempting to erase our community members, to take away equal rights and the ability to make decisions over our own bodies. In our reading, Reverend Julian declares, "But we are here. Our transgender and non-binary beloveds have always been here and will always be here. And this violence and this injustice is not all of the story. Because there is joy and there is liberation in living as our full, authentic selves. And this is what Transgender Day of Visibility is about. It's a celebration of our community in all of its beautiful gender diversity. It's an affirmation that we have the right to know ourselves fully and to live from that place, to know our true names and to know our true genders and to embrace the fullness of that expression in community. This week, I've been reflecting a lot on the teachings of one of our Unitarian forebearers, William Ellery Channing. He taught that the true purpose of religion was to support the full unfolding of the powers of the soul. In community, we learn and grow for an entire lifetime, gaining a deeper understanding of ourselves and a deeper understanding of truth. It is the work of all of us to continue to transform, to come into ourselves and to come into the truth more fully. And he also preached that anything that gets in the way of this full unfolding of the soul, in this deep and abiding self-knowledge, must be challenged. As we celebrate all the ways that we understand and express ourselves, this joy itself is a kind of resistance. We declare that the government has no right to tell us who we can be. You cannot and you will not limit us and you will not define us. In this time, I hope for us as a church to be a sanctuary for people of all genders, especially for transgender, gender nonconforming, and non-binary peoples of all ages. To be a place where we can all unfold the full powers of our souls together. So I want to invite us into the work I think we need to do as a congregation. Let's continue to learn and to live into being a welcoming congregation. We're currently exploring the UU Common Read, Authentic Selves, celebrating trans and non-binary people and their families. You can start reading any time, and there are upcoming group sessions. We're also planning to do some new workshops through the Transforming Hearts Collective, which has in the past brought us UU 101, about how to resist anti-trans executive orders. More details coming soon about when we'll offer that here. And I want to invite us to continue the spiritual practice of honoring one another's preferred pronouns and being mindful of not making assumptions about another's gender, including for our children. In our story for all ages, we met Aiden, a child who's preparing to become a big brother. Because of what their family learned during Aiden's transition, they're mindful of creating this space where their baby will be able to discover who they are as they live and as they grow. But as the time of the baby's arrival comes, Aiden worries that he won't do it right, that he didn't do it right. What if he chose the wrong color paint? The wrong name? What if this baby feels misunderstood? But Aiden's mother reminds him that they made mistakes when he was younger and that they learned together a different way forward. The most important thing Aiden had to offer the baby is his love. The most important thing we have to offer is our love. We will make mistakes. We will make assumptions. We will sometimes use the wrong pronouns. As a community, we can learn together just like Aiden's family, owning our mistakes, trying new ways of being, creating a community where everyone is celebrated. I believe that we can because we have the most important ingredient, which is love. This love will be the force which helps us to learn and grow and to continue to widen the circle of welcome. It is this love that will call us into community partnerships to advocate for equity and justice. It is this love that will be heard loudly in the public square, at our school board meetings, and in the offices of our elected officials. On this Transgender Day of Visibility, may we celebrate the beautiful gender diversity in our communities. May we commit to being a space where all can unfold the full powers of the soul. And may we embody the most important thing, love. Blessed be.
That was beautiful. Thank you so much. I invite you to rise and body your spirit for a closing hymn.
May we go forth into our week carrying with us the beautiful stories that have been shared with us, helping us to live most fully into being a people of love. Blessed be, and go in peace.